Hey guys, Daslater Gaming here, and I am going to run down the most common casino myths. And myth is a bit of a misnomer because quite a few of these are actually true, despite the fact that some common YouTubers have told you that they're false. But since it's a rather small channel, I have 4 other channels, so I'm not new to YouTube. Let me just introduce myself. I'm Daslater Gaming. I've worked building slot machines, custom computers, arcade cabinets. I currently work in IT, originally a software engineer, programmer, and mathematics expert. And I'm here to confirm or deny your casino myths because I'm also a professional gambler and advantage player for the last couple years. If something is going on in a casino, I know about it. And unlike some other sources and some mostly out-of-date sources where people get this information, my information is accurate. Now, just a warning, this is a very unserious, comedy, entertainment, keep it chill channel, but the level of snark and sarcasm in this video is off the charts. Because a lot of this stuff really annoys me, but, before you start thinking all my content is like this is quite the opposite. First myth, group pulls are illegal, don't do them. That's when you take 10 to 50 people usually 50 is the limit actually. You get, $10 from each of them, $100 from each of them, and then you go this crazy high limit and do 20 pulls at $200 a piece or whatever. Then if you win up to a predetermined level, then you split it up and everybody gets a share. Isn't that playing for stakes? You're literally gambling on someone else's behalf. I guess it's legal if all the people are 21 plus and can legally gamble there, and they're all present. If they are not present, then you're basically a bookie. That's the defining thing with court precedent. So, no, you don't have to go out to international waters and only do group pulls on cruises and stuff. I've heard everything. No, that's just not it. Little caveat, I think sports betting is very specifically different. But some casinos have banned it. They say the person who pushes the button is the person who's filling out the tax form, and that's that. We don't allow group pulls. So that's just their interpretation of the rules or their local policy. There is one casino in Vegas that I know is very stuck up about that, and I don't like them. I'm not going to name them, but I really don't like them. Here's another one, but I'm making an entire video on it, so I'm just going to give you this super high-level version. That digital slot machine keeps showing me a really close but missed result, more so than if it was natural reels. And they're doing that on purpose to make it look like, ooh, it's about to pay. Or if you need 6 balls to make the feature activate and it keeps giving me 5 more often than any other number. I know all the reels are supposed to be reels and they're supposed to be random, but it's doing that on purpose. That is completely and utterly true if the machine was made after 2015. That is when the law was changed to allow that. Otherwise, on a machine that is 20 years old, that's just how they set it up. They put the one you really want next to a symbol that's basically worthless, or they surround the really good bonus hit ones with blank spots. Here's another one. Playing with your card in versus your card out changes the luck because they'll know it's you and they'll change the odds. 1, you have to crack open the machine, unseal it. There has to be a third party there to change the odds. No, you can't do it remotely, so there's another one. I'll circle back to that myth, but they cannot say, oh, it's this person, they won too much today, or oh, they lost a ton, let's give them a couple because that'll sucker them in even harder. We'll give them a couple wins up front. Not only is the hardware incapable of doing that, but for security reasons, and this is just obvious to anybody who works in IT, one company makes the slot machine, a completely separate company makes the card reader. What if somebody puts a back door in it? What if somebody puts a weakness in it? What if I can pry the faceplate off with a tiny little concealed knife or a screwdriver and then I could swap out a chip? Well, then you really wouldn't want the simple little card reader that just identifies who you are and reads back and forth, they have played this much, and also here, redeem this free credit. Those are the 3 things that it can do. They cannot do anything past that. Oh, reserve a machine. There you go, 4 things. If I can take a third-party thing and plug it into a machine and have it change the odds of that slot machine or video poker machine, somebody would hack it and do it. Somebody would pay off one of the techs because you don't need the gambling commission there to open up a machine and just clean it, swap out the paper, and oh, look at that, it's unsealed. You have access to the card reader. In fact, they have to service those little card readers and the touchscreens all the time because they break all the time. So you can just screwdriver, swap out the chip with a rigged one. There you go. Oh, this chip tells this one machine to play at, X higher percentage. And then you sell that information to someone else. It would be such a criminal racket. They just say, okay, here's the standard API, the application programming interface. You can do this command, and this command, that's it. And it just comes down to hardware and network security. It's just that simple. So they don't know who you are. They don't care who you are. They can't legally care. It is actually illegal for them to do that, to say, oh, this person, give them worse odds. Can't do that. That is against U.S. law. By the way, this whole entire video was like U.S. gambling, by the way. And just a little fun tip for me, I would stay far, far away from any in Middle East, Asia, or pretty much anywhere outside the U.S. I don't trust any casinos. I've heard stories. Even Canada, I'm a little suspicious about. If you are at a casino in Asia, just assume they're scamming you every possible way. That's all I'm going to say. But, so, okay, can they change the odds remotely over the network? Like, it's Christmas, it's Friday, it's Saturday, it's a big sports thing. They're going to crank the odds way down. I have heard that. Probably that's the number one myth. But you might say, oh, but there's a patent for that. Somebody patented that. Cool. Well, no American manufacturers that are allowed in the country picked up on that. None of them use that tech. Because if you can change the odds over the network, I could change the odds over the network if I could access to your computer system. Oh, but they're like banks. They're like medical places. They're like the most secure. They got like 8 firewalls. You're never going to get in. Okay. No. And the amount of money involved when I just have somebody on the inside with the passwords. Like, I used to work medical. I've seen people with passwords on monitors on sticky notes. Like, you don't even want to know. And everything's real secure until Cheryl from accounting decides to open the wrong email attachment. You do not want a simple network command to be able to change it. And then if you got caught doing that, like the reputation was, well, they run a system that does this. Nobody's ever shown up again. The customers are gone. They won't trust you at all. So to kind of complete one of the others on my list was unregulated casinos. I mostly mean online, can cheat you in absolutely any way possible with AI tendencies, algorithms, letting you win up front, then leading you along, or using all these like psychological manipulation called dark patterns. All that stuff is completely illegal, but they're unregulated. They're in the Caribbean. They're off the coast of Africa very, very, very commonly. Absolutely. In fact, they have cash out scams. So they'll let you buy in, $1,000, wire it, whatever. Yeehaw. Pretty easy with crypto, just saying. Every single crypto casino is pretty much a scam. But yeah, unregulated ones in weird countries where they don't really investigate them, just assume either the slots are set to 30% or they're doing all kinds of weird patterns, letting you win, then letting you not, because they determine that that's the best way to get the most money out of someone. Yeah, they're doing all that because the government's not going to stop them. And what if they get a horrible reputation? Somebody like me comes along and says, I just did 1,000 spins. I bet on red and I won 37% of the time, which would never happen. Don't ever go to this casino. They delete the website, give it a new coat of paint, new name, new graphics, same code behind the scenes. They'd have that back up and running in 24 hours. And now it's called some other name. So like, nah, it's not a reputation thing. Now a physical casino, that's a different story. They lose a reputation. They might as well file the bankruptcy papers right now. But yeah, watch out for unregulated ones, even regulated ones. I don't trust them. But the exit scam I was talking about, this is the most interesting, so I want to leave this for last. They'll let you buy in, then when you go to cash out, they'll be like, oh, so you bought in 1,000, you want to cash out 12. Now we need a photo of your ID, proof of residence. We need your whole social, like all this stuff, your tax ID. Oh, you're playing from one of the like 46 states where it's illegal in the U.S. to gamble. Well, we can't pay you then. Also, did you read our terms where after 1 year, any funds left on our site are forfeit? That's the scam. They wouldn't even need the machines to scam you at that point. And then they advertise specifically to Americans, only on American IP addresses. Real common scam. Don't trust any of that. I would just not even gamble online at all. But I will say that the ones that are regulated, there's only a couple of them. And they're only legal in, I think, 4 or 5 states currently. In the U.S., they have to publish their odds. They are like half the margin because they don't have usually staff and or as much staff. They don't have real estate and property taxes, and they just pay servers, bandwidth, electricity, and the coders. That's it. So they can afford to make a machine a 96% return to player machine because they don't have much overhead. It's actually a better way to play, except, well, go to the casino, get the comps, you get to walk around, all the noise and stuff. If you're not into that, though, and you just want to play something, have a cheap night out with the boys, a night in with the boys, okay, I get it. So am I completely against all online gambling? Not really. But it's real easy to just sit on your butt at 2 a.m. and be like, I'll throw another 100 at it. If you have to actually drive to the casino, with the exception of the fact that I know some like gambling addicts, they would drive through a blizzard 2 hours to get to a casino. They have a problem, dude. The distance and the time out of the day, they'll call in sick to work. These people, they're addicts. They have a problem. If that's you, get help as soon as possible because it's not going to end well. I know people 40, 50,000 in debt. They've told me their stories. It's not pretty. If I could snap my fingers and it was up to me, leave all casinos as is or eliminate them all, I'd eliminate them all. And I literally know how to consistently make money. It's just for that bottom 5-10% that it's a problem for. If it's a problem for it, get rid of them. I mean, I also think alcohol should be illegal. Now, weak-minded, stupid people who don't know how to do math or control themselves will probably find some way to lose all their money. It's their personality that's the problem, not the casino. But, yeah, if I could just snap my fingers and snap all casinos out of existence, I would do it. They're saying, oh, the community, the taxes, the net gain, taking money away from rich people, giving it to poor people. There's all these upsides, and there are, but I still don't like them. I still think society would be better off without them. So that's always my stance on this channel. Don't forget it. That's another myth I wanted to confirm or deny. Like, oh, you're pro casinos, pro gambling. No. Okay, here's another myth. Casinos never get caught with what they're doing because they just bribe all the inspectors. They're all in on it. They just self-police in most of the states, and they just get away with all kinds of stuff. And if they break federal law, they just pay the fee because it's cheaper. They got those things set to 75%. The average countrywide is 90% in the most recent report I saw. And they came to that number because they said people will start to notice that they don't win as much when you drop it below that margin significantly. So if you set a machine at 50%, people are going to notice real quick. But they found out that anything below about 90, like you can push it maybe another 2 on nickels and pennies because you have to. But below that, if you have an 80% machine, I think 80% is the limit for federal law, I think. People are going to notice and you're going to start losing money. Whereas if it was 90%, you would actually make more money. They have determined that with many projections, studies, all that kinds of stuff. So why would they take a whole bank and set up to 70% illegally in high limit to make a ton of money? One, people would notice. Some people. People have been gambling for 10 years and know how that machine works. Humans are really bad at determining what's going on and tracking statistics, but some people have awareness. And if you've been playing for 10 years and still have money left, you're probably pretty sharp. So then what would happen? Okay, this is just, I could make an entire video on this, but we're just going to lightning round this. The IRS would question how you made so much more money. The Gambling Commission, looking at your statistics and reports, would wonder, how did you just make 1.8 million spins and you somehow are 10% above your customers compared to last month? There's a 1 in 100 trillion chance that would happen naturally. What are you doing? Okay, bribe them too. Like I said, okay, the IRS is going to question, how are you suddenly making an extra 30%? How is that possible? Then your customers are going to start to go away because all of a sudden they can't win anymore at your casino. Their money doesn't go as far. They don't know what's up. They don't know if it's just bad luck or if it's you, but in either case, they're not coming back. Then you get caught one time ripping customers off for like 1 week. You make a couple extra thousand. And then you lose your gambling license, and there goes your $500 million a month. Like, there's no business way this makes sense. Here's what a casino does if they're losing money, they're desperate, and they need to make up extra margins because, staff costs went up because of inflation or whatever. They take the food, the show tickets, and the hotel rooms, and they jack it up 10%. Look at a graph over room prices over the last 10 years in Vegas and tell me I'm wrong. The risk versus reward it's not worth it. One place in Vegas, tiny little bar cafe thing with 15 video poker machines or something. They did technically have a gambling license, I believe. So they were legal machines. They modified the chips, illegally opened their video poker machines, and made so that anytime the person would get a royal, it flips the card and makes it not a royal. Just a couple percent edge there. I think they just didn't want to pay out 4,000 credits. But shaved a couple percentage off, gave them an extra percentage, and they got caught pretty quick within a year or two. I don't remember how, but they did. I think it was either an inspection and they're like, dude, all these are unsealed. What's going on? Or they were caught by the FBI shipping in illegal modified chips, or one of the employees who got fired talked. I don't remember exactly what it was, actually. But they did get caught, and my God. Oh, this one place was using modified ones. I wonder who else in Vegas is cheating us. All of a sudden, tourism goes down 10-20% because of that one news story. They will sue you into oblivion. They will take your gambling license, rip it up in front of you, and tell you how long you're going to spend in jail. They will throw the book at you and then throw another book at you on top of it. You are not going to want to do that in Vegas or in Nevada state. Trust me. And like I said, you want to take the anomalous winnings and try and hide that from the IRS and launder it, you're going to get caught. There's no way. There is no way the casinos are all cheating you and violating the law and all this and everybody's in on it. That's not the case, except in other countries where I assure you it is a sure thing. Go to any country with more greed and less morals and they don't care about ripping off their own people or tourists. They really don't. Here's the next myth for you. Casinos will penalize you if they don't like your play patterns or if you won too much. That is nearly 100% true. I guarantee you thought I was going to say false. The one thing they're not allowed to do is say, this person sat down at this machine, that person won too much, that we want the money back from this person, change their odds, make it so they can't win. For starters, that is illegal. Secondly, the hardware has no capability to do that. And third, they don't care if one person won $1,000. Good, you're now a free marketing billboard for them. You tell all your friends. You post it on Facebook. You say, I won $1,000. You don't say, oh, and then I went back the next day and I couldn't win anything. I think they rigged it. Well, that tells your friends and family on Facebook not to show up. They want you to walk out with the money. They want you to spend it. And when people ask you where you got the money from, why you're going out to eat at a fancy place with them and paying, oh, I got it at the casino. It's okay if one person walks away with $10,000. Because there's 9 other people that lost it. Like it's all margins. It's all, there was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 million total events, spins, hands, and we made our 8%, 9%, 10% margin on it. So yeah, there's going to be some people hitting jackpots. There's also people who lose 1,000 straight. It averages out. You don't have to chase around the people who win big. Now, if you win a giant jackpot, they will offer you a room. They will offer you free drinks, anything. They'll offer you absolutely anything they can possibly do to keep you there longer. Because if you're like, well, I could play with X% of my winnings and then press a little more, press a little more, press a little more. They want you to cancel your dinner reservations across the street. They don't care. They want you to stay there as long as possible, because at the end of the day, if you were betting $10 at won 10,000 and then you go to betting $25 a spin, what's 10% of $10 and what's 10% of $25 on average? And who bets bigger? People chasing losses, also known as, idiots, not gambling in a healthy way. And people who won tons of money and are fine to walk out with, 7,000 out of the 10,000, who would never normally blow 3,000 in a casino, but now they're in the mood to do it. Oh, but I have to go. No, now you don't. They'll give you anything. If you win that much, they don't care. They will keep you there. But here's another thing, okay? Let's say you do nothing but play the gimmicky 100.8% return deuces wild machines. Big old sign that says, hey, this is 100 point, let's call them 101s. 101%, I rounded up, return to player deuces wild machine, where it pays, 10, 7 or so, I don't remember. I've got other ways to make more than 1% on the casino in case you haven't caught on lately. But I've seen people 8 hours a day sit on it, quarters, max bet, and they'll just grind it, not realizing that they're making like $30 a day, and that's if they make 0 mistakes and the buttons never malfunction. But yeah, if you got your player card in, they'll either exempt you from getting points, or if they detect that that's all you ever play, they will put you on a blacklist, give you 0 play offers, 0 comps, 0 promotions, because all you ever play is the 101% machine. So like, why would they give you anything? And then the other one is, if you only consistently put your cards into machines that have true progress and you tend to play really short on them, their algorithms, should they choose to implement this and actually care, a lot of them don't, but some of them do, they'll say, this we think is an AP player, an advantage player. They only play this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, and then they leave after 45 minutes. And they do it 3 times a week, and also lifetime they're up 30%, which is impossible. Huh. Let's send them 0 promotions. A lot of them know not to stomp out the AP players. I said why not to in that other video where I talk all about the world of AP, so I'm not going to reiterate it. But if you start going after them, they're going to start going after you, and the 10% that are remaining are just going to get worse. You can't catch everyone, so just don't catch anyone. If they cause problems, kick them out. Otherwise, just leave us alone. A lot less headaches for you, a lot less staff time, a lot less effort. Yeah, it's cheaper to just let us play something when the number's high and then jump off when the number's low. That's the whole point. Doesn't affect the casino's bottom line, because the next person who doesn't know how the machine works is going to jump on it with a 30% casino edge and not even know it. Start over from 0 when you pop the big number, and a lot of them are fake progress machines, by the way, now too. But if they detect that the only things you ever play, you never touch tables, never touch anything. You play like UX poker, you play this one, this one, this one, Lobster Mania 4, you play Regal Riches, and that's all you ever play. They'll say, this is clearly flagged as an AP player. The last thing we want to do when they're already ripping us off is give them additional free promotions to get them back in the door. That's insane. So quite a few casinos have implemented a system that will notice your play patterns and basically cut you off from anything. They won't necessarily ban you from the premises, but because that's bad press. But they'll make sure you don't get anything. So it is true, if they don't like you, your play patterns, your amount you won, under certain circumstances, they can do that. And if you want an amount that their system flags as extremely unlikely and extremely anomalous, way more than you just got lucky, especially on like 10 individual events that you just got lucky on, and they can't figure out what you're doing, but they think you're cheating, they'll just ask you to leave. They use a phrase like, your play is too hot for us, your play is too good for us, something like that, and just, we'd like you to play any other game, or we'd like you to leave. Don't worry, usually they only say that to actual cheaters. Oh, here's my favorite right here. Show up in fancy clothes, have them park a $200,000 car that you borrowed from your friend or rented, wear tons of expensive looking jewelry. They'll rush up to you and say, oh my God, it's a high roller in the 90s. Yep. Valet would jump on the radio and say, hey, we got somebody coming in real nice car. That's like a Lamborghini, and they're wearing, shoes that look like they're higher than my net worth. Can we give them some free drinks and some free buffet to keep them here? We got a hot one. Now, fast forward to Players Club's tracking and all that, early 2000s and up to maybe 2010, it went to prove it. Okay, that's a good starting point, but prove it. We're not going to give you anything until you prove it. They will rush up to you and say, we want to print you a player's card because they want to track you to make sure. And they just about tackled me in the door of one when I walked in. And I'm like, I don't know where to get a player's card printed. I'm just going to be here for 30 minutes. And I started playing, I must have racked up 100 points in 3 minutes or something by playing pretty high on a machine. And the guy sprinted across the casino with a little thing that says, hey, I could get your card printed in 3 minutes. I'm like, oh yeah, cool. I just literally could not find the kiosk. This place is huge. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. We got it. Oh yeah, you're great. You're awesome. Thanks. You're beautiful. And I think their system will pick up that you are playing a very large amount in a very short period of time. So that is the key. So the second way to do things was prove it, get 5,000 points, and we'll make you gold level. We'll make you diamond level. Then you get to platinum. Now we'll give you all the comps, but you got to prove it. We don't care. We don't care what you're wearing. Prove it with your money. Prove it with your money. Play high volume, play high amounts. And we'll talk when you get to a certain point level. Here's the problem. The locals who show up, once a month, once a week, every Friday, whatever, throw a couple hundred at it. That's their budget and they walk. Cool. I mean, you want them as customers, obviously, but they're going to show up anyway. Where else are they going to go? If they liked another casino better, they'd be there. It's a driving distance thing. You don't need to give them anything. Whereas someone else, where they're there for the weekend, they've got a ton of money, huge budget, big trip, They're rich, or they just saved up for a while for the trip and they went, $1,000 on airfare, $2,000 on gambling, because why not? And they're going to walk around Vegas and go to whatever casino they want to see the sights. You want to keep them at your casino for the longest period of time possible before they walk out the door and take their giant money to somewhere else. But, you only got 57 points. But they did it in 5 minutes because they're doing $25 or $50 or $100 hands or spins. They realize this is a 2010 onward, generally. I mean, a couple of casinos started catching on to this, and then they all copied each other. So it's not like they all had a meeting and decided, ooh, switch over, let's do it this way. It slowly became a trend where now they care about how many points you can get. There's a term for it, I don't remember what it is, but it's the projected potential loss or potential value or something like that. So even though you didn't get to a giant point level, if you were to play there more, you would. So they project, okay, this person would be in diamond tier, so let's keep them here. So if you want to get a bunch of comps, don't drive up a giant point total and try and just grind it at one casino unless that is your style. Don't show up in fancy clothes and try to look rich, because they will not fall for that at all. But there is a way to fool them in that you come in and let's just say you played 100 hand poker, which has a very, very, very low volatility. Holy crap, this guy's doing $100 a spin. And yes, I have fooled multiple casinos doing that. Or 20 line deluxe spin poker, which has one of the lowest volatilities ever. Because when you hit, it's auto multiplied, but then you get these weird exotic pickups and stuff. Yeah, you want to do $135 a spin on triple wheel. They'll come get you real quick and get you some free stuff. That's the best way to fish for comps, among others, where you hit 9 casinos in one day and just burn all their comps and cycle them once. That's another popular strategy, but I'm talking about how to fool just one casino. So the myth is you should do it, and this is how you should do it, fancy clothes and look rich. No. But then the other myth is there is no way to do it. The only thing that speaks for itself is the points, and they rely on it. Also false. Point density, amount of points earned per 15-minute block, is the number one benchmark they care about, and they will come find you. Make sure you got a player's card. Make sure it's in the machine. Here's one. If a dealer makes a mistake, never, ever, ever correct them if it's in your favor, because, what are you, stupid? They made a mistake, so it's your money. My reading of the law is that that's a felony. in some cases. If you get, I believe the wording is, get paid for a thing that you shouldn't have, knowingly. And that is the key word, knowingly. So good luck for them to prove it. That is a felony. I know because the casino accused me of doing it to my face. They were wrong and I was pissed. They thought that I had a pair of fours and somehow tripled it on 4-card poker, which if you know anything about it, no, I would not do that. That is the bare minimum hand, and you bet 1 unit and complain about it. That is the proper operating procedure for that. They thought that I got paid for a all diamond straight that I didn't actually get. It was diamond, 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 4 of diamonds, and then 4. They never apologized, never compensated me, nothing. They made me sit there the whole time and wait for them to review it for like 25 minutes. I'm like, what, are you using a VCR? Like, it's like 2013, I think it was. Now you might think, okay, they accidentally overpaid me and I didn't say anything. Maybe I knew, maybe I didn't, but that's on them. Like, it's their mistake. It's only illegal if you knew about it, and that's why most people say it's not illegal, because you could just claim you didn't know about it, but it is illegal if they have proof that you knew about it, but they would never have proof that you knew about it. So it's like, okay, so don't do it, it's illegal, asterisk, but they won't catch you. Generally, that's what it is. With the computers, the AI and the card recognition stuff on like tables, oh no. Machine malfunction, oh, you got your card and they're going to find you in the logs and they're going to ask you about it or kick you out. You don't want to mess with none of that. But never, ever correct it for someone else at the table. Not my circus, not my monkeys. If they underpaid someone, the whole table's jumping out at them. If they overpaid someone, everybody's suddenly off in space. Okay, that is etiquette. Because it ain't my problem and it's not my money, so it's not my felony. You know what I mean? Maybe the dealer should concentrate more. This whole place is already ripping me off, right? Am I right? Fist bump through the screen. Let's go. Leave a like on the video. But the recourse, I said, okay, if I got paid the wrong amount off by 5, 10, 20, I'll give it back. Don't worry. I'm up. Not a big deal. You know, whatever. Like, your guys' problem. You should let it go. But sure, I'll pay you back. If you're going to be dicks over like $5, but it was way more than $5. It was closer to like 80. But I eventually said, look, I got to go. Okay, I got to go pretty soon. Wasn't actually true, but yeah, I was sick of it. And like, what am I being accused of? That's what they told me, specifically taking a payment that you weren't supposed to on this one hand. I said, I didn't have a pair of fours. Why would I have tripled that? I remember that. Before I bet that high, a max bet, triple bet, that's like a lot of money. It's like $30. I'm going to check if all the diamonds are there. I'm going to check about 10 times, okay? The diamonds were there. And she goes, that's what I thought. When they told me the details, I said, he wouldn't bet triple on a pair of fours. I'm like, yeah, I didn't. If I snuck a heart in there or something, I sure as heck didn't do it on purpose. So tell him to hurry up on reviewing it. She calls him up. A couple minutes later, walks over. Yeah, no, that was diamonds. I'm like, what did they even think they saw? I have a theory that they didn't like how I was playing another game. That is all I'm going to say. And they just wanted to sweat me. They just completely made something up to try and sweat me and get me not to come back because they didn't like how I was tilting my cards, where me and my friends were sitting, and how often I was looking left and right. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about it. And I may have gotten a warning or two and then jumped off that and jumped on another table. So they're like, let's sweat them on this table. Dirty, rotten, garbage tactic. But I was friendly and calm the whole time because I'm used to that kind of stuff. I'm trained for that. I am cool as a cucumber in stressful situations because I just have so much training in that. I used to work security. And shout out to the lady that I just saw at the casino. She's like, hey, I've seen you before. Weren't you at the shooting? And she's like, yeah, I remember sitting out on the grass with you after the shooting. We all had to evacuate. I'm like, oh, yeah, that was freaking wild. She's like, yeah, I remember your allergies were like tripping. I'm like, yeah. I paid, this is true. I paid a guy $100 for his bottle of water out of his car just so I wouldn't have to go get the paramedics because I didn't feel like chewing the Benadryl pills that I keep as an emergency on my keyring because I have really bad allergies. I wasn't too keen on having a bad taste in my mouth for 3 hours and no way to get food or drink. So I paid him a bill. I was up $1,400 that day. But anyway, yeah, I was the only one not losing my head when the shots rang out, when we were already outside and we heard the gunshots outside. And everybody was just staring off into space. A couple people booked it into the woods. Shout out to them. I was behind an engine block and then I yelled to everybody. I'm like, bro, gunshots, get behind something. And then they're all like, oh, and snapped out of it. I'm like, how are people this stupid? Then I realized, I've got years of training, firearms training. I mean, I'm almost certified as a firearms instructor. That's a whole story. But yeah, cool as cucumber, baby. Got to be like that if you're an AP player too, because you got to have nerves of steel. But that story is about another myth. Casinos are really super secure, and if they put a don't bring a gun or weapon sign on the door, that totally stops I mean, Potawatomi, Milwaukee has a metal detector, and you ain't getting in without going through it. Okay. Good luck stopping a zirconium ceramic knife, but, all right, okay, you know. Otherwise, nothing stopped this guy from shooting the place up. Signs don't do anything, you dumb liberals. Making the guns illegal doesn't do anything either, because it's already illegal to murder people. So why don't you piss off and let me carry my gun everywhere? How about that? Because I could have ended the situation real quick if I had it. Not saying I did or didn't. By the way, look up the number of attempted robberies in Vegas if you think people don't do that anymore. Here's one. Casinos lose money on shows, food, and everything else to get you onto the gambling floor because all the money comes from gambling. That was true up until recently. I think I already kind of covered this, but like, if they want to make more money at a casino, they found out that changing the odds on the machines is tedious, insanely like staff time heavy, and then those 100 slot techs and the people from the gaming commission are gonna maybe talk to somebody else and say, hey, we just made the odds even worse at this casino. They hit like 100 machines and cranked the odds even worse. Don't go there. Word will get around. You spent all that staff time, overtime doing it at 4 a.m. when nobody's there, and all to make 1% when you could just crank up the food, the show tickets, and the hotel stay by 1%. Guess what you're gonna do? Now, some of the newer casinos, in fact, I could name them, but I'm not going to, in Vegas, they found out, no, we want the gambling to be like there. That's like our bread and butter, but there's so much money to be made. And people were starting to show up to Vegas just for like $30 show tickets that would normally be $100 because they're like, well, we could go to, so-and-so Arkansas, see a show and do a bunch of like Broadway stuff. Or we could just do the same thing for 1/3 the money, like basically at cost, and then get a couple comped buffets. And all we got to do is like run $50 through the machines and get like a free buffet ticket. So now, they don't work that way. They changed the comp structure. They made it actually illegal because the homeless and drug addict problem with getting free buffets. Because it started to be all that would show up, and then people would show up just for the shows and for the cheap hotels. So now, I mean, look at a graph of the hotel prices in the last like 10, 20 years in Vegas. Yeah, they cracked that code. They're kind of handcuffed by how bad they can set the machines at before they just go bankrupt and nobody gambles there anymore for various reasons. So the only way they can make more money is to make money on the shows and the food. And that's why they're bringing in like, F1 or Indy or whatever it is, the racing, the Super Bowl, all that. Now, on the same token, is it a myth? Casinos subsidize flights. They pay the airlines to make the flights as cheap as possible because once the people are there, they'll make money off them. I don't know if this ever was true, but I believed this one because the flights to Vegas are really, really cheap by me. Turns out it was a promotional thing. It was, hey, direct to Vegas. We're doing direct to Vegas now. It's like a friendly, easy, 3 to 5 hour flight depending upon where you are in the country, typically. But now you didn't have to go to a hub. There's no changeover. Vegas had something to do with that. They kind of were like, hey, we'll maybe pay like a setup fee from what I heard, but now they absolutely, from what I've heard, do not subsidize flights. They will do very aggressive hotel and flight, like all-encompassing packages. Like I just got offered, I think it's like 3 nights for free at an MGM property, plus the flight there and back, direct from one of my local airports, real close one actually, and you get everything included plus $50 free play for $650. Not bad at all. So they will do that, but that's not really subsidizing the flight necessarily. But if they say, hey, we're going to do all of this at cost and hopefully we'll get them to spend way too much on food gambling and show tickets, because that's not included. And then we'll make sure they don't rent a car by giving them a free shuttle from the airport. So now they got to take an Uber or walk on foot. So they'll probably stay at our casino longer. So there are these little hooks to it, but they don't really directly subsidize the flight unless you consider the packages. So they're not just like, hey, take 30% off the plane ticket and just bill us. Like that's not a thing from what I could find in my research on this. And I was shocked by that. But when it was like $150 promotional price round trip to Vegas, that was when they just had opened the route and they wanted people to know it. It was part of the ad campaign. And they figure if you go there once, you're going to go there multiple times because it'll be your favorite vacation spot. So that's what they did. And now, the flights are just kind of normal price now. Here's one. Casinos put the highest paying machines on the edges of a row. So you got a row of 8 of the same machine. The ones on the edges pay more because they're more visible and they want people to see you hitting jackpots, I guess was the theory. Probably was true in the 80s, probably was true in the 90s. Now they're all basically networked together. You'll see one of them has a sticker that says master. They function as one, and there's no reason to do it. However, this myth is actually true. So in banks of multiple machines that are identical, saying that one is the lucky one, you are completely incorrect. That's not how they're set up, programmed, leased. There's no reason to do it. If one has a higher progressive play on it, that is a real thing. But other than that, no. However, at the edge of a casino, what do you always see? All Aboard, the new Hot Soup one, and a couple others. They're very loud. They're like 11 feet tall. They're bright. They've got crazy animations. You got the train horn whistle. So how long does it take you to hit a bonus on All Aboard? It's about 1 in every 1 to 200 spins, give or take. Your typical mid to high volatility slot. So not a lot of people win money on it. I mean, if you get a couple bonuses in a row, cool. Most people will go 300-400 without a bonus and then give up. Or don't, but, do. You'll see a lot of huff and puff variants near the edges, but a lot of those machines aren't big enough because they're not designed to be really tall. So they want the biggest, brightest, tallest machines that are the loudest, have the biggest eye-catching animations, and they want the craziest bonus to go on for the longest period of time. So All Aboard, you can have them trains showing up for a couple minutes, and it only takes you 1 to 3 seconds to lose a spin. But on one winning spin, you can win, 100 times your bet, so you get this big, flashy, giant number flashing on the screen. Whoa, look how much I won. Oh, I'm jumping up and down. I'm high-fiving my friends. Whoa, this person just won. Oh, the person next to him, they got the bonus. Oh my God, the person next to him was running a bonus. Holy crap, these must be the luckiest machines ever. Well, with that new, the triple popper hot soup one, I think it's literally called hot soup. I don't quite remember, but the order up machine. We have clocked those both personally and on YouTube 3 to 12 minutes on one bonus. And it takes, I think we had 1.8 seconds to complete a lost spin. So even though the bonus goes off 1 in 100, 1 in 200, 1 in 300, whatever it is, it's going to be going for 5 minutes straight, So when you look over, oh my gosh, all 4 of the people all have a bonus going? Look how much that person just won. It's a timing thing. They are fooling you. Well, not now, because I just told you it's not fooling you, but it's meant as an attention grab where like, okay, this one is just going off. Maybe there's a glitch. Maybe they programmed it wrong. I'm going to jump on and find out, and I wasn't even going to gamble today. And then $100 later, you're like, okay, no, I can't hit the bonus. So yes, those types of machines, high volatility, high splash, high everything I just said, high volume, high animation, they are on the edges of the play area near the biggest entrances. If the casino has any semblance of knowing what they're doing, that's where they are. Also, the big one, like the old school way to do it, was the Wheel of Fortunes with the big, 1.3 million, oh boy, that you got like a 1 in a trillion shot of hitting or whatever. Because people are like, and it's only like a quarter, so it's like $1, so it's like $5 a spin, and I could win 1.3. You know what? I'm walking past. I got a 20 on me, and I'll just in and out. And when people get the spin, you stop and watch it, and then you think, maybe I could too. So that was like that's always you go to any casino that's been open for a while. Those are on the edge of the play area every time. All right, time for the lightning round because it's really just one thing that, my gosh, it just covers the other 100 myths because they're all the same thing. All past events cannot influence future ones. Sincerely, the law. A win or loss cannot be determined. The odds cannot change up or down based on an already established result from the past in any way. No machine is designed that way. Nowhere is that legal that I'm aware of anywhere in America, or really in the world. So, it's the end of the month and they have to give away X. Otherwise, they'll get penalized. Wrong. There's no quotas. There's no nothing unless they're trying to cover up a crime or something, and then they just cook the books, which I've already said is virtually impossible. 15 jackpots were hit in 1 hour. Then, if someone wins 200K, so the casino has to ... I personally won X this year, so anything at the end of any of those sentences, you're wrong. I don't care if you're going to put positive, negative, you're wrong. Past results cannot influence future results. Not allowed. None of them are designed that way. I'm a new player, so they'll let me win. Wrong. I mean, usually they'll front load you with a ton of free play to get you in the door if you're a first time player and pay you more if you're 21. But so other than that, they can't change the machines. If people won what they consider to be an anomalous amount of too high of money, they'll just turn the machines off and get rid of them. Return to the leasing company and say something's wrong. That's about the only cause and effect on past stuff that I can even think of. Everything else, It's all superstitious nonsense. You might say, no. I saw somebody win a jackpot and then they threw all the money back in and didn't win another one all night. They must have changed the odds. The hardware and the software are literally incapable of doing that. It's against the law, and that is not how they do things at any certified regulated casino. But I saw it with my own eyes. Okay, let me introduce you to something called sample rate, okay? One time I flipped a coin 4 times in a row and it came up heads 4 times in a row. The coin must be magic. The nature of the universe in this particular part of my room must be different. Wrong. You tell me that the coin's rigged and that it's magic and that the universe's laws of physics just broke after doing it a million flips. Then come back to me and tell me the number. People are like, one time I saw somebody win a jackpot 3 times. They must have just liked them. They must have been new. They must have been 21 and they're trying to get them addicted. Oh, they did that on purpose. It's all programming and computers. 100% false. They're playing with their card in, so they're playing without their card in, so they cashed out the ticket on the machine, then rebought it with cash, so they confused the machine and it's a new person. 100% false. That is not a thing. No machine works that way. None of them. People that I know personally still believe that, and I want to slap the crap out of them every time they say it. That is so provably false from every possible angle. Don't even get me started. Okay, so I gotta end on the number 1 myth, but before I do, leave a comment down below if you have another one which you'd like to know if it's true or not. I am almost definitely gonna make a part 2, otherwise if I don't have enough content for that, because I really covered it this time, I'll just directly answer you in the comment section, or maybe both. And don't forget to subscribe for more inside information. Here we go, the number 1 myth believed by people in casinos, and it is false. Yeah, the slots have about a 10% margin, and I'm going to be there for 4 hours and cycle my money 87 times. But the 10% isn't going to catch up with me because ... I don't care how you're going to end that sentence. You're wrong. 10% margin, you're going to cycle your money 87 times in 4 hours? You're going to lose your ass. Yeah, you got a 1 in a million shot, but then go play the Powerball. In fact, do you think you have supernatural powers, you're just special and the universe is going to let you win? Because if so, skip the casino and just pick some Powerball numbers manually. You're wrong. There is no such thing as luck. Luck is a description of events that already happened. It's a way of describing them, not a magical property. There's no magic. In fact, okay, did you study professional level advantage play for weeks and memorize where every machine in the casino is? Then you're probably going to come out ahead and beat the 10% margin. Because I'm lucky, because I want it to happen, because I need the money more, because karma, because the casino is somehow changing the odds for me, any of those, no, you are wrong. You probably shouldn't step foot in a casino. Know that it's tilted out of your favor. Know that it's just for entertainment. If you go with a group just to have fun, cool. If you go by yourself, that's kind of weird. You probably shouldn't. It's more of a social outing thing. You know, the cute couples where they take turns pressing the button and they win $80 and get all excited. It's just a thing. They could just be at the movies, but what are the odds of getting your money back at the movies? 0. A casino is a pretty darn cheap vacation, but it's entertainment. You have to see it that way. Don't think I'm going to beat the odds because I'm going to go to Vegas one time and win 10,000 because I want it to happen. I don't care what you want. The random number generator in the machine doesn't care what you want. And the universe doesn't care what you want. The numbers are the numbers. I believe in math. And if you want some really weird, swingy, anomalous thing, play as high as possible, as little as possible. If I say I'm going to bet you $100 per coin flip for 10 coin flips, it might be 60-40. It might be 70-30. That could happen. If I'm going to bet you $1 per coin flip and flip it 10,000 times, it's going to be dead even. So if you're going to add a 10% edge on top of that, I am going to lose at that level. The more you play, the more you lose. Unless you walk past the machine and say, oh, hey, that number's 87 and that number's 56 and that number's 71 and that number's 9. So my overall edge is 210%. And then I walk past the poker machines and there's multipliers left by the last person who didn't clear them. So 2 + 2 + 2 divided by 5 lines, 20% contribution. We're at 180% return to player. The average hand wins 41% of the time. So, yeah, okay, I'm going to return approximately $18 on average. Okay, welcome to my world. Yeah, you're going to consistently beat the casino. Unless you're me, you're not going to do that. But if you say, it's a destination wedding in Vegas and I'm invited and I'm never going to step foot in a casino again, I'm going to throw $500 at it and see what happens, and you win $600 and you leave, yeah, that happens all the time. If you're going to say, I'm going to go to a casino once a month for 10 years, you're going to lose consistently over time. Nobody beats the casino unless they get a giant win and stop. Or win a $2 million progressive, which never happens, and then continue to only bet $10 a hand for the rest of their life. And that's the high variance, high swing. That's the pendulum swung that way, lucky you. Guess if that happens the majority of the time. That's literally not how it works. If people could just will into existence a bunch of wins, casinos would be out of business. Okay, there's your, if you think you're so special, so does everybody else. And if any amount of them were right, casinos would not function. So waving your necklace, your crystals around, and all the other dumb crap I've seen people do, rub the machine and all these, I've got a system, you're wrong. I mean, I got a system, but most people don't. Like, yeah, you'll probably get your money to go really far if you bet on every single number on roulette but one. But if 10,000 people do that 10,000 times each, a casino's still going to make their 4% on that machine. It's just that simple. Okay, just to end it with the one where I'd prove I don't know absolutely everything. Is digital blackjack, digital craps, and digital roulette rigged? I wanted to know, so I threw a lot of money at it at MinBet, and my general finding was that on 3 different machines made by 3 different manufacturers, the answer is yes. But I couldn't find any hard evidence online because those manufacturers are super tight-lipped with the marketing materials and brochures about those machines when they try to sell it to the casinos. And my guess is that's because they know they're rigged. But an unattended roulette machine with no dealer is cheaper to run than the tables. So if both of them are going to be a 4% edge, give or take, you're going to make it. But like, why would you put one of those in instead of an 11% slot? Just for variety? I mean, you're putting in something that takes up a ton of room that people are going to win more on? It's going to make you less money? But yeah, the number of anomalous that would never happen suck out hands on like digital Texas Hold'em, roulette, and blackjack, all of our statistical analysis over 100 hands were double-digit anomalous percentages. Now, could there be ones out there that aren't rigged? Yeah. What brand are they? What do they look like? I have no idea. I personally would never in my life ever play one of those machines ever again. Oh, and I just read my notes. Oh my gosh, this is such a disorganized video. But hey, leave a like if you like the information, this whole extensive mini doc that I did. You aren't going to find this density of information with the anecdotes and stuff to back it up and this, research qualified information anywhere else. I'll tell you that. So if you appreciate it, stick around. I do a lot of like gambling and funny, dumb comedy stuff on this channel involving slot machines and stuff. But a lot of tips, a lot of math, a lot of research. So we cover both ends of that. So stick around if you want to see it. But lastly, oh my gosh, this is probably the fastest way to piss me off is to insist that this is true, and I know it's not. Oh, video poker machines, they rig it so that you never draw the card you need. If a machine is called video poker, that is what it was certified. It is a card game, and it's made by a major manufacturer. The only way to adjust the winning odds up and down are to pay somebody less by tweaking the pay table. So they'll pay you 8 units of your bet instead of 9 units of your bet on a full house. And that'll change it from like a 2% to like a 3%. So I've seen poker machines way down there in the 4, 5, 6% range, and they don't care that it's not a 10% machine because nobody plays perfectly. I benchmarked myself and I played 99.6% perfect. And that I've been doing this for 10 years. Well, longer technically if you count just playing for fun on like, gaming consoles and learning how to play poker and playing with my family. Even I don't know all the keeps and all the conditions and all the pay tables and all the versions of poker. I'm close, but I'm giving them an extra little 0.4%. Other people, I've seen them hold an ace on deuces wild. You should see the face I'm making right now. But on, for sure, IGT video poker machines, which is generally most of them, they cannot change the card that comes out. If you hit the help button or the pay table button and read about the machine and it says, we draw from a 52 card deck, then that is what they're doing. So I know there was a lot of sarcasm and snark in this video. It's not usually how I make it, but my gosh, do I hate it when people spread misinformation. I find it so personally annoying. But now you're properly informed. So like I said, leave a like and subscribe if you appreciate the information. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.